Granny's oatmeal. Now that's something special. Nobody can make it quite like Granny. I remember growing up sitting in the kitchen at a small round table, about 3 feet from the stove, the smell of the boiling water as the oats pour forth from the Quaker man. I sit there and I watch Granny move in awe as I wait in anticipation for yet another opportunity to indulge bite after bite in that seemingly never ending pool of oats and sweet cream and raisins, butter and sugar, each spoonful displacing the next. And before I know it, there's no more left. I missed out on Granny's oatmeal for about 13 years. My father died when I was 6 and a half, and my mother lived in a different city. So I didn't see my father's side of the family as often. As I became an adult, I got to reconnect with my family, and I figured the best way to honor my father was to care for his mother. So, how did I do that? Hey, Granny, I was calling for two things. One, when can I come get a bowl of oatmeal? And two, I'm in the process of getting my own place. Is it okay if I stay with you for about 3 months while I save up? And Granny said, I don't know, Derrick. I'm not used to living with anyone. I've been living on my own for 20 years now. At this time, I was 23. Granny was 83. And we were just getting to know one another again. Granny, I'm getting my insurance license and I'll be able to afford my own place. I don't have a lot of friends. I'll be quiet. I'll pick up after myself. And she said, okay, Derrick, but I'm going to hold you to your word now. Yes, ma'am. So I moved in with Granny. And 2 weeks later, I found out I had an unpaid ticket, which led to 2 weeks jail for driving on suspended license. And I spent the next 3 years living with Granny and walking, catching the bus, and dependent on digging on rides, digging myself out of the Michigan driver's responsibilities fees to get my license back. And during my time with Granny, I learned to simplify life. Granny was a woman of faith. She served in church by decorating the event. She would always work for free. She just came and she would be of service and do all these beautiful decorations. She was the best cook around town. She wrote the most significant poems. And whenever she was courting guests, she would go into a frenzy to pull out the best rugs and the fine dining silverware. She was like a master of hospitality. And every month, with little for herself, she still managed to send money to children around the world through faith organizations, even if she didn't have enough to cover her expenses herself. And every month she would sit down and write out her expenses and suffer with a headache from the overwhelm. And every night I would come home and I would share with Granny my dreams and goals. And I give her like this grand lecture while she lay on the living room couch in her robe with her wig on. And I'd be like, Granny, I want to be a millionaire. And as I give her this lecture about how I'm going to be a diamond and try to simplify my complex wisdom for her simple life, she's like, oh, really? And Granny just sat there in silence listening. Granny didn't care about me earning $1 million. Granny wanted to see me live my dreams. And she was lit up every time I shared it with her. And Granny shared with me her dreams. And she wanted to be a published author with her poems. And last year, November, for Thanksgiving, we got to all gather with Granny as she was on hospice. And we were at my cousin's house, who was the next best cook in the family, and who was also a nurse as Granny was in her life and cared for her elders. And here it is now, she finds herself having it paid forward. And there we are, our favorite holiday. We celebrate Granny, and the very next morning, she got her call home. And it was such a significant moment, not in sadness, but in profound love. Like, wow, here it is, our favorite moment, holiday of every year, to be with the matriarch of our family, who's the best cook, got to be with us on all of our very favorite holiday. And from there, the very next morning, showed us how it looks to skillfully lay down your coat. And I had a conversation with Granny that night before the next morning. And I found myself about 2 or 3 weeks after we lost Granny, not in a sadness, but in a space and time where I was just living in my van, sleeping, smoking marijuana, and literally just eating all day for about 3 weeks straight. And I went through many different spaces of reflection. And at first I thought maybe was I in a depression or sadness, that I didn't realize that Granny's death had a bigger impact on me than I realized. And as I reflect on her life and all the life lessons that I learned from her in simplifying life, the one thing I got that really brought me a sense of peace in this world of madness was a riddle in a poem that came to me in this space and time. And I'm going to share that riddle in that poem now. So it says, do you mind if I share a riddle with you before I die? And it's okay to say no. And I realized in that moment that 3 weeks, not moving, not doing anything, it was a representation of death. It was as if I laid down my coat with my grandmother and we both came back alive with love and her presence in me. And I spent her birthday, before I share the rest of the riddle, I definitely, because I didn't fully write the rest of the story out. So I'm just sharing it from the heart as it is. So Granny, and thank you all for being with me. Granny came back with her love in me, and on her birthday, we got to make that bowl of oatmeal with love in the way Granny did it. And she shared with me her secret. And her secret was that she didn't do anything special. She just followed the instructions. And so when I made it, I just put the oats in with the water as it boiled cold and stirred it up with Granny's love in the presence of Granny. And I added the ingredients, the salt, the pinch of salt. Then I poured it in the bowl with Granny's love. And then I poured in the cream and the sugar and the raisins. And I enjoyed a bowl of oatmeal on Granny's birthday this past February 24th. And this is the riddle that came to me that allowed me to be in peace and love with Granny as we made that bowl. It says, do you mind if I share a riddle with you before I die? It's okay to say no. Proceeding to listen is a yes, it's your choice. There is a key to the riddle. It is to listen from love. It is written from self to self. How you choose to interpret that. The riddle to the test of life. Who am I? I'm the only one here. I'm not here. I'm all of it. I'm none of it. I'm all of you. You're all of me. I am that. I am. I am myself. However I want to play it, I could play it. Whatever I want to experience right here, right now, I could do, regardless of how you feel about it. I've already died for my sins. Now it's time for me to do what I want to do. I gave us life. You're welcome. If you think who you are for me is who you are, and that's what you say or feel, then that's who you are. I am that. I am. If you feel any kind of way about that, oh, hold on. I am myself. Oh, no. My apologies. I'm losing my spot because the actual one is on the phone that I'm the Zoom on, so I had to take a picture of it. But however I want to play it, I could play it. Whatever I want to experience right here, right now, I could do, regardless of how you feel about it. I've already died for my sins. Now it's time for me to do what I want to do. I gave us life. You're welcome. If you think who you are for me is who you are, and that's what you say or feel, then that's who you are. I am that. I am. If you feel any kind of way about that, change it. You have free reign to do as you please with your body and experience. Choose how you want to experience yourself. Go where you want to go. Do what you want to do. If you like it, I love it. How do you want to experience me? As one or as separate? Either works for me. When we die, dying and suffering causes we die with the heavy heart. If you die loving, you die with the light heart. The only rule is know thyself, don't be covetous of another. Jealous, envious, hateful. Want anyone else's life but our own. Just to be and serve me and be who you choose to be. As I serve you, as I serve myself, as we serve one another. If you do not serve me, I will still serve you. Heavy hearts go down, light hearts go up. Wherever you die in the experience of your heart, heaven or hell is where you wake up. That's where I use you, or rather we use ourselves. You can always ascend higher, but if you go off course and are covetous, you get to break down and start over again. Welcome to the world. Play fair, play safe, play nice, follow the rules, and remember, don't take life too seriously. I'm not crazy. My reality is just different than yours. I'm not mad, or accept me as I am. I'm not mad. We're all mad here. My apologies, messing up at the end here. We're all mad here. I love you. Have fun, enjoy. Any agreements, I will come to collect all debts in full. I am light. I am love. I am listening. I am life. I am the great one, the one who saw it all, the one looking in to watch myself forever and always. Long live the baby guru, King Rick Ransom by Derrick D'Angelo Ransom. Thank you all for your listening. And so now we get to go and share Granny's poems with the world.